Thank you, all of you, for joining us here. Welcome, panelists. And AI is something that has already been talked about. AI is something that's nothing new, and it has left no industry, no sector across the globe that has been unchanged because of AI. And classrooms is nothing new, and it is something that's been impacting positively and maybe not so positively as well. We'll get into the details soon. Now, AI is a double-edged sword, as Dr. Reddy said. We know that it is here to enhance our operations, enhance our productivity all across, but there are many, many reports that claim it will going to automate some jobs away. It will. Now, you all are somebody who are grooming, teaching the engineers and who are working on technology. Now, the question here, and the challenge rather, I would say, here is not only how you teach students who are making the technology, but also groom them well to how work alongside technology. We also have Professor joining virtually. We can see you will also involve you in the conversation. Now, there is another debate that's going on, skill versus degree. Engineering is one degree that takes your 4 years. And it has been like this traditionally. But we will conclude our discussion on the point, how would it look like 10 years, 20 years down the line? We are seeing a lot of platforms like Google offering you many, many certifications, degree program that are 6 months long or a year long that claims that same quality education in comparison to the 4-year-old degree. That's still debatable. And we will also briefly touch upon how skill versus degree is doing. Now, panelists, in your opening remarks, tell me in last 12 months, or let's say 24 months, what are some of the major observations you have made? This is not only about how AI is impacting broadly, but tell us in details what have been your observation in terms of students' behavior, in terms of your teachings, and your faculties, how AI is impacting their teaching prodigy. So all of that in your opening remarks, please. If you can start, Professor Reeba.
Thanks, Resham. Very good morning to all. So I see so much worries and agonies among all the members, how AI is going to take away their jobs. To start with, being an academician for a long time, I always, especially engineering is built on strong foundations. Technologies transcend at a very fast rate. From the time immemorial, as engineering grows, technology is used by engineers to make our life easier. So now AI is a technology which is basically to be used as a tool to make our life easier. Whereas if we are considering that, okay, this technology is our enemy, then it will turn out to be one. So in the classroom, okay, we are all talking about this is the era of generative AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, all transformers are available there with us. But how do we make the student use it? Again, I would like to tell that if technology, say computer when it came, or mobile technology when it came, we used to, our tendency is to restrict people from using it. That is when they try to use it in the wrong way. Similarly, when it comes to ChatGPT, as Dr. Reddy was telling, it is not going to stop our creativity or to make us lazy. It all depends on how we are going to use it. So in the classroom, I want to encourage students to be more creative using any of these generative AI tools, because it makes our life easier, faster. You can make faster decisions. You can get a good starting point instead of browsing or Googling through so many of the documents or so many of the evidences. It gives a very good starting point. But what happens with a student? He tries to think that, or he tries to believe that, okay, this is what all I need to do. They don't understand that it is only a starting point for them to start thinking creatively and innovatively. So it is a lot of sensitization is required in the student community as well as in the faculty community. With that, they will be using the AI responsibly. This is what I have observed in the past 2 years. As ChatGPT came, if we restrict, they will keep on try to use it for wrong reasons and wrong way. Whereas I give them assignments based on, I'll tell them to take inputs from ChatGPT and work on it, expand on it, and based on those, I give them assignments. So that is really working out, and the students will come up saying that, yes, it expanded our horizon of thinking. So it is all up to us and how we sensitize them, how we take it forward.
Great to know, Professor Reeba. Now, what she's trying to say that we encourage students to use it wisely to enhance, to make your productivity more effective. Now I'm coming to Professor Behera. If you can listen us, hear us, tell us what have been some of your observations, if you can share those specific pointers in 3 points.
I think 6 months back or 8 months back, somebody translated my video in Spanish, in Tamil, and exactly following my tone. And first of all, I was a little shocked that, and this is a company placed in Poland, and they did it, and I saw that they are doing an incredible job. Of course, it's not 100% correct, but it's almost above 92%. So some little editing here and there has to be done. And when I saw that, one of my PhD students, I gave the problem, okay, sitting in the Poland, they are doing translation, video translation in our language. Of course, not all language was there, Tamil probably, and then one Hindi, Tamil and Hindi. These two were there. So I gave the problem to my PhD student, let's work on Indian language. So this is just one example that has caught my attention. Second thing, let me tell you, I met a BTech student from IIT Kanpur. I am from IIT Kanpur, although I'm in IIT Delhi as the director. So I met this boy from IIT Kanpur, and I asked him, what do you plan to do? He's a civil engineering student. He said, I want to do higher studies. So I said, good, you are doing higher studies in civil engineering, it would be nice. But to my shock, I saw, he said, no, I would like to do data science. I said, Baba, you are a civil engineering guy. Why you have to do in data science? Sir, I have not learned anything about civil engineering. That too in IIT Kanpur. He has done all the courses in data science. He is very confident that he will do very well in the GATE exam. So you said 3 points. This is the second one. And then I'm going to summarize. And third is, you see, which I have been telling in many forums, that AI is able to do data manipulation because of brute computing power. AI, in fact, has gone to the hand of few powerhouses, whether it is Google, Microsoft. But AI is not a cognitive system. I started my PhD in 1991, where my PhD topic was neural controller for robotics. That time I was interested in AI to understand inner cognitive science, how we think, how you decide, what is common sense logic, how, we given data, we create knowledge from knowledge, wisdom. These are the thought process. But currently, you have to recognize that AI is not going, means we wanted a convergence between natural intelligence or human intelligence and AI. But it is completely diverging. That's the bad part. So I gave you 3. You wanted 3, I gave you 3. I can give more, but let's stop here.
Thank you,
So
Professor
my
Behera. We'll come back to
my
you. We'll come back to
my
you with more questions as we proceed in our conversation. Now I'm coming to you, Professor Reddy. Tell us what has changed in your classrooms in last 24 months.
Thank you. Good morning to the audience and my panelists. I think Professor said rightly that from past 2 years, the industry buzz is too high, where people are watching. Frankly, the word AI was coined early 70s, and today we are having all the technologies to make things happen.
not 70s. It is in 50s, early in
Yeah, I'll
late
correct
40s.
myself.
Late
Maybe
40s.
Professor around 1950s.
Yeah. It's Marvin Minsky who coined the word
John
AI,
McCarthy has
but it
coined
is
the
early
word.
50s.
Yes.
Late 40s.
So today it is possible because of the technological evolution. And from past 2 years, because of various IT industry giants like Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, now they brought this word more visible to us, and also they offered various platforms initially for free. Slowly we are adopting, and we are slowly becoming more bent towards it, and it is alarming. And recently, the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, has said in an interview that let's start students to make use of these applications to do better coding. So what my opinion is, or what I look at it is, earlier days we used to buy hard a lot of code, we used to insist to learn many coding languages, but in the coming days, the mundane tasks are going to be taken away by AI. So there is a great need to change our curriculum and the teaching pedagogy. So we need to introduce to every faculty, it may be civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or electrical engineering or computer science, immaterial to the course, either it may be sciences or astronomy or aerospace, we need to introduce these advancements, since it is not replacing human intelligence, it is going to make comfort levels. Today we are living in a comfort zone where everyone wanted comfort. So I believe there should be a paradigm shift towards the curriculum and also teaching pedagogy.
Good to know, Dr. Reddy. Now, we understand that this change has come in, this buzzword, this AI is nothing new, as Professor Behera said, but this, at this point in time, has created a buzz and give us opportunity to grab by also posing many, many challenges all around. Now I'm coming to you, Professor Jha. Tell me, how are you students reacting? How are younger engineers reacting? And how AI is impacting the faculties? What changes have you seen?
Yeah, thank you, and good morning, one and all. Good morning, Dr. Behera and my fellow panelists. I have been in academia for some time, but then last 2 years I was in industry. I just wanted to understand the other side of the table, how they work, and I was at Larsen and Toubro. We were actually trying to create, courses which we could give to, different academia, institutions, and also to reskill our own, L&T, and plus others as well. Earlier, it used to be very difficult, getting, people who can actually, and on the studios and all. Dr. Behera actually rightly pointed out, you don't need those, at all. I was actually surprised when, it's very easy that, you have to just, and probably it will be, depending on different software that you use, it could be, different number of, words, but then only 500 words you will have to, speak probably, how, in your accent, how you use. And then they will use your, make your avatar. It will be you only, like he was referring. And I was actually surprised, shocked actually in the beginning that it could be me who was talking and almost the way I speak. With just those, because it would learn and then start doing. So I think, it's how, how things are changing. It's always what is requirement, and then we need to also prepare our, workforce and also the students accordingly. So I would say, right from the first industrial revolution, it was in around 1740 to, 1860, when, the requirement of industry was different. They were actually looking for the graduates who would just be punctual, obedient, always listening the teacher or someone, So it would resemble, exactly the way the industry used to be, the classrooms as well. But now the requirements are different. Requirements are different, and so we have to change as well. So earlier we used to call literacy, then it became IT literacy. So if you are IT literate, then only you are literate. Now it has become almost we are getting into AI literacy. If you are not AI literate, so there are a lot of things that AI can do. I know, I can smell our students are actually smarter than we are. We, when I say we, the teachers, majority of the teachers, I am not pointing out. So the point is, the teachers who used to be source of information earlier, now information is everywhere. So you need to be source of inspiration. How can you inspire people? How can you inspire the students? AI is going to stay, and based on different research, they say that by 2055, and this is based on one research, but you can quote many others who might differ in these dates. But by 1955, half of the jobs that mundane tasks, as he mentioned, we will lose to automation.
That's correct.
Half of the jobs. So we need to switch gears, and it happened in early days when the computer revolution came. This will continue to happen because this is the change which is inevitable. Every time there will be something, some disruption will happen. I think probably this what you call COVID actually did good in this sense that people actually realized this power of AI even more in education. I would say when people were forced to be behind their drawing rooms and all. So I think things will continue to change. Every dimension of engineering, every domain of engineering is going to be affected by AI, but positively I am talking. Of course, there are issues which may go other way. Like everything, I mean there are issues related to ethics, related to other things, which will also be there, and therefore you need to regulate. You need to see that how far you want it to go, but at the same time, but more focus should be on how can we promote pro AI things, because if we want to be the powerhouse, AI powerhouse of the world, we need to be pro AI initiatives we need to take, and accordingly academia is actually serving making, I mean so-called they call it industry ready, but whatever time it takes for the student and actually become industry ready, still I think academia has a lot of role to play there. So if I call it one line that it is a need of the hour, it's going to happen. So there is no point saying that whether we should go for it or not. How fast we can go is the key.
Thank you so much, Professor Jha. It was well explained, and we also got a gist how industry is reacting and what's needed right now. I'm coming to you, Professor Jha. Tell me, I mean, he correctly said that it will continue to evolve with time, right? Tell me one thing that needs to be constant. What is that one thing for students, for teachers, for academia to keep in mind? You would want to? I was coming to, my apologies. And both of you can. Both of you can.
Yeah.
So what is one thing that needs to be constant? Professor Jha first, and then
Yeah.
Professor Reddy can add.
I think, see, out of all these things that happened, right from first industrial revolution, since we did not have time, I didn't dwell into it. But then what is constant is learning, adaptability, resilience. These things are important. What we call 21st century skill sets. These are important. You need to learn. Newer things will come, then what are you going to do? You cannot be like, saying that, okay, I have been or I was prepared for the workforce. Contemporary, see, no institution, neither it is MIT, Stanford or IIT, can claim that, I am going to prepare a student who is going to be relevant in his skill set, with his skill set, which is going to last forever, or say 30, 40 years of their active life. No one can say. What they can say, I mean, you can always prepare them for contemporary, workforce, but what is more important is you prepare them with so-called 21st century skill set like creativity, flexibility, design thinking, IT, communication skill, adaptability. These are the things. You need to be learner. Lifelong learning is the key, I would say.
Very, very rightly pointed out, and this is in addition to what Professor Behera said, the cognitive ability. So this is something that cannot be replaced by AI.
Yeah,
Your take on this?
Yes, thank you. To add this, basically the AI requires basic foundation of mathematics, physics, and a kind of logic reasoning. See, what we are forgetting in any engineering branches, these foundation subjects, hope the experts also will agree, we have to give more emphasis on foundation subjects with applications as the outcome of it. We can see +2, there's a race for IITs and NITs, I'm sorry to say, and students were left with a lot of pressure. So where we need to change our education system to meet with AI. So that the counterparts of various bodies in India has to sit together, spend a lot of time on how we are going. When you take US education, they introduce all this in their 5th standard or 6th standard, very lower grade, the logic, reasoning, coding, everything they are teaching well in advance. And they choose at the right time what is to be adopted. But that is not happening in India. India, we are just in a phase where we are not meeting both. So that's where I request the academicians from all the top IITs and IITs to look into it. Thank you.
Now there is a debate going on which says skill versus degree. Now, in my initial comments, I mentioned about how students are encouraged to look at shorter term degrees and certification courses, and COVID actually encouraged the masses to do the certifications in various domains, and people did it. How many of you did some certification during COVID time? Nice. So I would want to understand from your perspective, how are you looking at this? 10 years, 20 years down the line, do we see 4 years time cutting down and coming down to 2, 1, 6 months? I'm not too sure. I can be wild in this prediction, but I would want to know from your perspective, Professor Behera also, what would you say, how will it change the academia, how it functions today, and how will it function 20 years down the line? The engineering programs, how will it change with incoming of AI, advanced technologies? You are the people who are grooming the technology creators. Tell us, what are you expecting in coming times? Professor Behera first.
You see, AI is here. It will stay for some time. I don't say that its longevity will be very long, but it will be there. We have to live with it. So in that case, we have to learn how to use AI for the betterment of our society. Instead of thinking it's bad repercussion. For example, with Sarah Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, SQUAST, we started a BTech program. It's a joint collaboration, AI in agriculture. See, where the skill is necessary. See, finally, a country of 140 billion must think how to feed 140 billion bellies. Healthcare. So, not only we started this program with SQUAST, they have taken and those students will do 1 year courses at IIT Mandi, but only a week back, our civil engineering chair came and said, sir, we must start also AI in agriculture, given the need, skill. So I think whether it is 4-year course, 2-year course, 1-year course, doesn't matter. We must give emphasis on the skill. So if people are interested in AI, if they are hooked onto AI, let us use that propensity in doing something good for the society. That would be my advice.
So far, skill 1, degree 0. Your take, Dr. Jha, Professor.
Yeah, I think your question was whether skill versus degree. I mean, whether of course, I mean, skills. Yeah, degrees. I mean, there are even in Google a sizable number of its employees are actually not having a degree. But you know what Google is doing, right? And the trend is actually catching up. So you need to be actually good at certain things. Certain means whatever the requirement is. You need to be that. Even if you have a degree, I mean, we know how, the degree are, and not everyone is at the same level, by the way. So it's not degree at all. But then what sort of skills? We need to actually be a cognizant of this, that, what sort of skill sets are required. Given the century that we are in and the kind of workforce, I mean, the students we are preparing for the workforce, we actually have done some work when in my earlier stint as L&T Chief Academic Officer. We did some research on this, and then though there are a lot of skill competency frameworks available around the globe, but then we came up with this tentatively like 3 skill competency skills which are important: technical, functional, and behavioral. Now, technical is the domain knowledge, but of course the skills, these are the major skill sets I'm talking. Functional is something that irrespective of either you are engineer or accountant or manager, anything, you need certain functional aspects, functional skills, which is AI, for example. They call it prompt engineering or whatever you want to call it. But then AI, finance could be one functional skill. Everyone should know. Computer skills, everyone should know. So the functional skill. Behavioral skill is actually 21st century skills. Already I have mentioned. So all these skill sets you have to require. Now you said whether, there is a question whether the conventional, these university will exist or not. I would even talk that. To my opinion, probably no. Because now already we have got,
That's
ABC.
a very bold statement.
Yeah, I mean.
We got a headline for today.
Academic bank of credit. Now one student is no longer you're a captive audience, captive student. So now tomorrow it not necessarily you need to be in a university. Why you need to be in A university and go and do some other B university? No, you can go even to industry. You can be on job. You acquire some, because what is important is what is the learning outcomes required. If you need it, and if it is being delivered by an industry, you go there within your time period. You go there, get that energy, and maybe something like TRI. We have got one regulatory agency can actually keep on a track that okay, you need these things. Sum total of that, you are worthy of being called an engineer.
This sounds all so fantastic.
Yeah.
When are we expecting this in India?
Well, I expect it somewhere down the line. May not be in my time, but then I see these things happening. Why it can't happen? It can happen to other, FMCG or say other sectors. It can happen in education as well. So I think what is more important is even if you need a degree, it can be acquired like this. No longer the conventional way of imparting degree. That's what I foresee. But definitely, if you ask degree versus skill competency, of course skills. Skills, then I told you 3, then you have to come up with the competency. Now, in this skill, what is the competency required? And that will be dictated by the workforce. What is like certain positions? The positions will keep changing. So the workforce will say this is, and then levels. If this is the competency required, what is the level? And level will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the stage of your the career stage that you are in.
Very interesting times. Professor Reddy, what would you say? Are we seeing these in a decade or a century?
Very short. Thanks to the Government of India, NEP 2020 has transformed completely the degree system. Like they have initiated ABC, Academic Bank of Credits, and also encouraging the online learning, where most of the institutions in India is now respecting the credits earned by the students through NPTEL, Udemy, or any other online, reputed online program offerings. And I look at it as he rightly said, so shortly, if a student gets 160 credits within 3.5 years, he might get his degree. Because today, degree is a kind of a passport, I feel. There is a lot of skill gap, what we are producing. So slowly, the students are now able to understand the difference between a degree and a skill gap. So in this scenario, we are in the right direction, and all the government agencies are also supporting, all the universities, colleges. I too agree that I am looking at within 2-3 years, maybe very short, the universities will recognize and respect the academic bank of credits and will issue the degrees.
What's the score now, skill versus degree? What's the score now? 2 skills. What would you say?
See, I believe now both are equally important because of different purposes. Okay, if you take South down, degrees are very valued, but when it looks at industry, they look at skill is more valued.
Yes.
But initially in the placement drives, they ask some percentage of
Degree.
marks, so
Yeah.
in the degree, are you
Good.
completed or not? So still now today we are giving equal importance to it.
You're
But coming days, yes, I can say within no time, the companies are now recognizing when there is an availability.
You're
there's
making a
supply and
balance.
demand.
You're on a safer side. You're making a balance. Professor Reeba, your brief take, how are you looking at academia changing in next 10, 20 years? How will students react? What are your predictions?
What is one thing which should not change in spite of all these technological changes is the lifelong learning. So that we cannot avoid. So upskilling, reskilling are all inevitable. If you ask me skill versus degree, yes, I will also to some extent vote for skills rather than degree. But at the same time, you can also see industries approaching academia to upskill their workforce with a provision of degree. That means that industry is keenly looking also for upskilling and giving them degrees so that probably it may be a norm or it may be a concept among all of us that a degree is always a stepping stone to a next degree or next expansion of knowledge horizon. So in that angle, industries are also coming to academia. Even Alliance University is partnering with many industries to upskill their workforce, maybe from a diploma to a degree or a degree to a post-graduation. So both are equally important. Degree as well as skills are equally important. Probably after a point of time, maybe 10 years or 15 years down the lane, new skills will come still. Now we are sitting here, we are thinking about the 21st century skill sets, functional skill sets, behavioral skill sets. Even those may be changed if the technology is again going to upgrade, and definitely it is going to upgrade. So that is my thought, where government also needs to regularize. Maybe we should have, in case of AI, we should have a AI strategy, national strategy on AI to make this an AI hub of the world. So India is in all good directions actually. I believe that there will be a lot more Indian institutions and industries together can do further for our future. So currently AI is, I don't say AI as future, AI is the current trend. Tomorrow it may be something more. But again I tell you, like as my fellow panelists say, that they are coming back to the fundamentals. He was pointing out that maths, physics, chemistry, those are the strong fundas. Once you have the strong fundas, whatever be the transitions happening in the knowledge or in the skills, people will be able to do it because we are lifelong learners. That is my take on this.
Thanks, Professor Reeba. So 3 takeaways for me. One is AI is current, here to stay for long. Second is India is in the right direction. We are on the right track to be the AI capital, software capital of the world. And third is skill versus degree is still debatable. So we see here 50-50, and this discussion can go on because this is clearly a 50-50 match. But
No, no,
for now,
can I make a
Please.
small comment here?
please.
You see, university, although is now giving degree, if skill takes the precedence, they will also become a skill-based university. But that's not very important point. For example, AI as a skill became a necessity for the society because universities invested in the research. We need to recognize universities are meant for knowledge creation. That knowledge creation gets translated into the skill after a long phase. For example, if intern, Bangio, these people would not have really worked very hard within the university system, I don't think that the way AI has evolved would have come to this stage. I think that we have to look at a bigger picture of university. University are basically meant for research and knowledge generation, where India is actually missing in a great way.
Perfect, Professor Behera. I'm sure all the professors here would also agree with you. And I really don't want to end here, but we will have to. Thank you so much, all my panelists, for making time for
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Aditya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.